All right, class.
Yes.
Woo! Welcome up. This is my 5th hour class. You guys are energized, right? Woo! Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's take a look at what we got here. So we're doing representing sequences in our interactive notebook today, and this is going to be page 11 that we're working on right now. This one's going to be page 11, and the practice right here is going to be page 10. All right. So we've already done this first problem right here. That was part of our warm-up as we came into class. So for this one right here, I'm going to go through and write what I'm supposed to have there. So I said that my first term, so I called it, what I called it, F? Yeah. Let's call it F of 1 was 5. Very good. F of 1 is 5. And then I should have, what's the pattern? F of n minus 1 plus 10. Very good. How what?
Nothing.
Okay. Okay. I think you've asked me like 3 questions like that already. Mister, how do what, excuse me, what? Oh, nothing. Listen, Jersey Shore, we're going to have some serious issues this year.
I don't know why you keep trying to do me like that, but when I come back with a banger, you better keep that same energy. I tell you, man.
What's a banger? Is that like a song? That's like that song that's like lit. You're like, yeah. Anyway, all right. Hey, so are you still referring to your cover?
I'm not even talking to you no more.
Anyway, all right. Thanks. Here's World Star now. All right, number 2. Starting at 10. Starting at 10. What is the notation that I'm going to do if I say I'm starting at 10?
That's the first term.
That's the first term. How do I say that? F of 1 equals 10. Very good. Yep. So F of 1 equals 10. Now, how would I write this? So it says each new term is 5/2 less than the previous term. So that word less, what does that mean? Lower? Okay. So now what mathematical symbol should I use?
That's a fraction, so what are we doing?
Minus. Say minus.
Minus.
All right. So if it's less than, I'm going to use minus. Okay. Less than would be a minus term. Okay. So I know it's 5/2 less than the previous term. So now let's start by the notation on that previous term. How would I write that? N minus 1 minus 5/2. Yeet. Okay. Now let's take a look at the third one now. Let's take a look at the third one. So the third one gives me a whole bunch of numbers from a graph. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna write these over here. So what is my first term? Say 16. What's the next one? 8. 4. 2. What comes after 2? Say 1. Right? What is the pattern on this? Multiplying by half, right? Multiplying by half. So let's go ahead and write this out. So I'm going to call this F of 1 is, say 16. What is my first term? 16. The first term in this pattern or sequence is 16. So F of 1 is 16. Now, let's go ahead and what is it going to be? What am I doing this every time? Multiplying by half. Okay, so I would write that it's going to be f of, okay, times 1/2. Very good. Do I need to move it up a little bit more? You got that? Do you want to move up? There's spots right here.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Alrighty, so let's take a look at number 4 now. Number 4 already gave us, all the notation that we already have. So let's go ahead and write the pattern that goes along with it. So if I'm writing the pattern that goes along with it, similar. Okay, so the pattern that goes along with this. So what's my starting number here? -5. So this information right here, g of 1 equals -5, that means that's my very first term in this sequence. Comma. What is this right here implying? Previous term times -2. So I'm doing previous term, which is -5 times, so -5 times -2 is 10, positive 10, very good. Because a negative times a negative is a positive. Thank you, positive. All right, let's keep going then. So the next one in this one, so I take my previous term, which is 10, times -2 is -20. Keep going. Previous term, which is -20, times -2. Positive 40. Okay, and ... Right? Yep. Let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 right here. Let's start off. What is my first term? 0. So this is my term numbers. So this is going to be f of n, f of 1, is equal to 0. F of 1 is equal to 0. So that's my first term. Now, what did I do to that? What am I doing to that? Multiplying or adding? Which is it? Adding. How much am I adding? 0.1. Very good. So now, how do I write it out that I'm going to add 0.1 to the previous?
And minus 1 equals... No,
not equals.
Plus 0.1.
Plus 0.1. Very good. You guys ready for the test on this?
No.
Really? Hey, seriously. Did you understand this? Okay, so you should say, yes, I got this. Okay.
Are you still doing honors?
Yes. And remind me, end of class, I have something to say about it too. Okay? All right. So, there we go. So we got 1 through 5. Let's take a look at this next part right here. This next part is going to be group activities. So let me see. Who is missing a partner? Nope. Okay. So, you? Karen, right? Yes. Yes? Okay, I'm still working on names. Anyway, so you turn around and work with those two, okay? So there's going to be a group of 3 there. Now, this is what you guys are going to do. So listen carefully. I'm going to give you guys instructions for this. You're going to work with your partners on this, and I'm going to give you guys 8 minutes to go through and start this. It says, take turns with your partner to match a sequence with a recursive definition. It may help to first figure out the sequence or arithmetic or geometric. For each match that you find, explain to your partner how you know it is a match. For each match that your partner finds, listen carefully to their explanation. If you disagree, discuss your thinking and work to reach an agreement. There is one sequence and one definition that do not have matches, so create their corresponding matches. So that means one of these is not going to match one of these. So you're going to have to make whatever the match would be, and you're going to write it right here. And that would be n of 1, okay? So one of these don't have the number pattern, okay? The number pattern's not there for it. So you're going to have to write the number pattern down here on 7. Now, does that make sense? Yes. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys 8 minutes right now with you and your partners. So I'm going to pause the video because it's going to, be boring. Anyway, so 8 minutes. I want you guys working together. I want you guys actually talking about this. I don't want to see you guys other things right now. All right, so let's get started. All right, so we're going over it now. So the way I actually wanted you guys to actually figure it out, like how to decide how to do it. Because if I tell you every time, how to figure out patterns, that would be my way of doing things. I want you guys to figure out how your way, because it most likely is going to be different than the way I do it. Because my patterns, what I see is different than what you would see. Okay? So, if you're still struggling with this, okay, I wanted people to start with this. So this says g of 1 is 18. So that 18 is my first term. And it says take my previous term and multiply by half. Okay, so half of 18 is 9. So it goes 18, 9, and then, 9 times a half is?
4.5.
So therefore this has to go right here. There we go. There's that one. So this one, I have an initial term of 3. So it says 3, and then over here it's going to be, this is my previous term, so 3 times 5 is 15. Do anyone have those? No, so I'm going to put this one down here. 3, 15. Now, 75. Because it's 15 times 5 is 75. 375? Only need 4. No worries. Overachievers. I love it. All right. So let's take a look at this one. This one starts off with 3. But right here, I'm adding 5 to it. So 3 plus 5 is 8. Then 8 plus 5 is? Okay, so which one's that going to be? Number 3. So, okay, next one. Initial is 18. So 18 minus 5? 13, right? 18 minus 5 is 13. And then 13 minus 5 is? Very good. So that one has to be? Ah, crap. Wrong one. Psych. Okay, anyway. L, this one right here starts with 18. So it's going to be 18 times 2 is? 36. So 36 times 2 is?
72.
So L has to go with? Very good. So, and M. M. So it's going to be, this one starts with 3. So 3 times 2 is? 6 times 2 is? So this one goes with? There we go. We got those. Now the one that's missing is right here. So this is going to go with N here. So I'm going to say N of 1 is 18, right? Okay, N of 1 is 18. Now, how would I write it? So it's going to be N of... I always have to start with this. N minus 1. I always start with that because that's going to be my previous term. And this is plus 2?
Yeah.
Plus 2, plus 2, plus 2?
What do you mean?
Yep, that's it.
I mean,
Is that easy now? Did you get it all? Good job.
We didn't have to write that.
Already, huh?
What was up with the greater than 2?
Right. Okay.
Greater than equal to.
All right. Huh?
What's with the greater than equal to?
Okay, so listen. Hey, you guys, listen, please. There was a good question here. What does this mean? So that's what the question was. So n greater than equal to 2. So what is your first term? The first term is 1. So n equals 1 is this. Okay, this is your n equals 1. So this is your 1. So that means your second term. So your second term is going to be from here. Your third term, your fourth term. Okay, that's what that means. So it's going to start with your second term. So you're going to start finding your second term. That's all that means. Okay? Because I give you the first term, this says start finding the second term and on. That's what that means. Okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at the other side. Yes, that thing. All right, so now you guys will love this. Okay, I want you guys to take a look at this right here where it says ready for more. Okay, right here on this part that says ready for more, cross through it. Okay, I'm not going to do that piece. I don't like those. I don't like the ready for more part. So this one right here, I tried to do it. Yeah, it's not, I don't like it. Dumb question. All right, so here's a pattern where the number of small squares increase with each new step. Write a recursive definition for the total number of small squares. Okay, so let's take a look. How many is in my first one? 1. So I'm going to say that. So let's start with the numbers. So it's going to be 1, right? And the next one's going to have how many? 5. Okay. How much did I add there? I added 4, didn't I? Okay, so now let's take a look at this next one. It's going to be 14? Okay, so now let's take a look. So I started with 1, and then I added 4. Okay, so on step 2, I added 4, which is a 2 by 2 square. On step 3, I added 9, which is a 3 by 3 square. I added 9. So on the next one, I would add 4 by 4, wouldn't I? I would add a 4 by 4 to the previous. So my step 4, I would add a 4 by 4. So that would be super important to understand there. So if I'm adding a 4 by 4, okay, a 4 by 4 square, how would I say that mathematically? Okay, let's start with writing my notation. So I'm going to start the notation. I'm going to say that I'm going to have, this is S of n. So I'm going to say S of 1 is 1. Okay. So my next one is going to be S of n minus 1. This is what everyone should be on right now. Every single time you guys are doing it from the previous number. So we're adding from the previous number. So n minus 1. Okay? Now, I'm going to add something, right? So I'm going to put plus. Now, I need a notation for this. So how would I say this, a 2 by 2? Say it? 2 squared. How would I say this? 3 squared. And the next one would be 4 squared. But look closely for this. This one on step 2, I'm adding 2 squared. Over here on step 3, I'm adding 3 squared. On step 4, I would be adding
4 squared.
Okay, so now that's changing every time, isn't it? So what would I write right here? Say it. I just heard it. It's not 4. I don't want it. I don't want 4. I want it n squared. Woo! Good job. N squared. Because if you notice, it's the same as the step, isn't it? It's the same as step. So this is the third term, right? So if it's the third term, I'm adding 3 squared. If it's the fourth term, I'm adding 4 squared. If it's the second term, I'm adding 2 squared. Does that make sense now? Okay, that's what we're doing. So now, so now we have this one right here, and it says for part 2, oh wait, hold on. Okay, sketch graph of S that shows steps 1 through 7. We're not going to do the graph part, but we're still going to do the steps 1 through 7. Okay, so I'm at 14 here, right? That was step 3. So step 4, so it was plus 4 squared, which is 16. So this plus 16 gives me 30. Please, if you have a question, now's the time to try and address it. Okay, yeah. So on this one, see where my step is right here, right? So step 3, which is N3, right? N3, I added 3 squared. So 3 times 3. So it's a 3 by 3, so which is 9. So if I count all the squares, I get 9. So I'm adding N squared. So since I had 14 on the previous, right? That's what it says. The previous was 14 plus N squared, which was 4. 4 squared is 16. 14 plus 16 gave me the 30. Okay, let's do it again. I'm going to do it again. So now, what step are we on now? 5. We're on the 5th step, right? So if we're on the 5th step, this says I'm going to have, what does this represent? Number before, which is 30. So this right here is 30 plus 5 squared, right? Because we're on the 5th step. So 5 squared is 25 plus 30, 55. Okay, let's keep going. So after that, so 55 is the previous, plus we're on, this is my 6th step now, right? So since I'm on my 6th step, 6 times 6 is, yes, 36. So 36 plus 55, 91. So I know there's no one in here trying to take a nap. Yeah, I know. Put your head up. Questions, please, please, please. Okay, we still got, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We still got one more term. So if you don't have it to this point right now, then I need to go back and address this. Is anyone, please, please, please. That's not us. Is anyone still struggling with this right here? Okay, you want to help me with this next one. You're going to help me with this next one, okay? Yes? Okay, so, listen, word for word, this means S of n minus 1. What does that represent? The previous term, right? Hey, hold on. Hey, you guys, shh. Okay, this right here means the previous term. This is the amount from the previous term, my previous answer. That's what that means. So in this case right here, this previous term is 91, right? Say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if I'm going by terms, this is my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and we're looking for the 7th, right? Yes? Does that make sense now? A little bit. Okay. So, if I'm looking for the 7th term, you guys quiet down please. If I'm looking for the 7th term, it'd be 7 minus 1 is 6. So this says I'm plugging in the 6th term, which is this. Okay? That's where I get that information from. If I'm looking for the 7th term, I need the 6th term,
Plus n squared.
which is 91, right? Plus n squared. N represents the term. In this case, it's going to be 7, right? Because this is the 7th term in this sequence. Maybe?
Oh, now I get it.
Okay, you gotta help me. Tell me what part you don't like.
Okay. So that would be 49.
The squared part? So the squared part, do you understand that the n represents the number in the sequence, right? Okay, so we are adding this because my pattern, I added 2 squared. This one I added 3 squared. The next one I added 4 squared. And so on, all the way through.
So is it geometric?
Okay? So on this one right here, since I'm looking for my 7th here, I need to add 7 squared. Hey, you guys quiet please, trying to finish this. So I'm adding 7 squared now, right? So I'm adding my previous, which was 91, plus 7 squared, which was 49. Which is going to give me 140. Make sense or no? A little bit? Okay. All right, so since everyone's already getting up and trying to get out of here already, it's kind of like they want to leave here.
That watch line is long. It gets long fast. Okay.
Listen, y'all got plenty of time left. Anyway, all right. Okay, that's the only part of this that we are going to do. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. You guys got the practice on the back.